He was a Turkish diplomat's son who snuck into black jazz clubs in Washington, D.C., a man who turned rhythm and blues into an international language. Few know how much the world of music owes to him. This is the story of Ahmet Ertegün, told in his own words, the man who built the bridge between cultures, beats, and generations.
I was born in Istanbul in 1923, the same year the Republic of Turkey was born. My father, Munir Ertegün, was a diplomat, the first Turkish ambassador to the United States after the Ottoman Empire fell. Our embassy in Washington wasn't just a political space. It was filled with art and records. But my true education came from the streets. While my father entertained ambassadors, I snuck off to 7th Street to hear black musicians play. One night, I met jazz legend Lester Young. I told him, "One day I'll make sure everyone in the world hears music like yours." He laughed and said, "Then you better hurry, son." What few remember is how at just 11, I saw Duke Ellington's band live in London. Glowing men on stage, their music hitting like a storm. It wasn't just sound, it was power. When my father died in 1944, the Turkish government called us home, but I refused. I stayed because I had unfinished business with American music. Yeah, I sold some of my collection, over 15,000 jazz records, and used that money to start a label. We called it Atlantic Records in 1947. People think we had big investors, but our first studio was literally in the back of a hotel ballroom in New York. It smelled like cigarette smoke and old carpets. Our first hit, Drinkin' Wine, Spodeo D by Stick McGee, recorded in one take because we couldn't afford a second reel of tape. Unknown fact, I used to personally deliver records to black radio DJs because mainstream stations refused to play our artists. I'd walk into small studios in Baltimore and Memphis, shake hands and say, "Just play it once. Let the people decide." And they did. Back then, my brother Neski and I even staged secret jazz concerts in DC. Basements during the early 40s, just us kids and a few hundred fans crammed in. No tickets, pure chaos. When Ray Charles came in, everything changed. He mixed gospel and blues into something no one had ever heard. We didn't know what to call it then, but that's what became soul. I helped arrange the sessions for I Got a Woman and Hallelujah, I Love Her So. What many don't know is that I also played the tambourine during early Ray Charles sessions. We didn't have enough session players, so I filled in. And here's a secret I kept for years. Under the pseudonym Nug Getre, my last name spelled backward, I co-wrote several of his early hits, slipping in lyrics that captured that raw edge. We recorded at night, often until sunrise, because studios were cheaper after midnight. Those nights built the sound that would shape generations. In the 1950s, racism was still a wall you couldn't climb. When I booked black musicians, some hotels wouldn't let them stay. So I started renting entire floors under my name, Ertegün, a Turkish embassy guest, just so they could have a place to sleep. That's how we kept the tours alive. Music didn't just break barriers, it survived them. And yes, sometimes I used diplomacy to make music happen. Once when a British band couldn't get work visas, I made a call through embassy contacts. That band was the Rolling Stones. To lighten the load, I'd pull pranks like leaving fake and compromising phone messages for execs at fancy hotels just to watch them squirm. It kept us sane amid the fights. By the late 60s, Atlantic was at its peak. We had Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, and Otis Redding, but I was looking for the next sound. One night I got a call from my friend Dusty Springfield. She said, "Ahmet, there's a new group in London you must hear. They're loud, but brilliant. That band was Led Zeppelin. When I met them, Jimmy Page barely looked up from his guitar. I told him, "You can have total freedom, but you deliver the music." They agreed. And that handshake deal, no written contract, became one of the most successful partnerships in rock history. During our Stones negotiations, things got wild. I got so drunk celebrating the deal that I fell backward out of my chair. We laughed for hours. And at a 71 Fillmore East show, I showed up in full yellow, socks, shirt, handkerchief, just to stand out in the crowd. In 1967, we lost Otis Redding. His plane went down on the way to a show. When I got the call, I sat in my office in silence. But a week later, we found a demo on tape. It's not sitting on the dock of the bay. We released it exactly as it was, with the whistling at the end. People said it sounded unfinished, but that's what made it perfect. A few people know this. I was fluent in 4 languages and could switch between them in meetings to close deals. I used that to connect musicians across cultures, from Turkey to Harlem, from London to Memphis. I even tried to bring traditional Turkish music to the West. In 1973, I helped promote a record that mixed Anatolian folk with rock, the beginning of what's now called Anatolian rock. And in my personal life, romance was just as musical. To woo my future wife, Mika, I once hid a full 5-piece band in her closet. They burst out, playing Puttin' on the Ritz mid-dinner. She said yes. In 1983, I became one of the first inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the non-performer category. A quiet nod to the behind-the-scenes magic. Music is a language of its own, and I spoke it better than any I learned as a diplomat's son.
Ahmet Ertegün wasn't just a producer. He was a connector of worlds. He discovered the soul in America's sound and helped deliver it to the world. From Ruth Brown to Aretha, from Ray Charles to Led Zeppelin, his fingerprints are everywhere. In 2006, he passed away after a fall at a Rolling Stones concert doing what he loved most, being where the music was. He was buried in Istanbul near his family, but his voice and his vision still echo in every song that crosses oceans.